Jimmy Swaggart is a Christian Pentecostal televangelist preacher and musician with a career that spans multiple decades in both fields. He is also one of the most manipulative people I've ever come across. Throughout his career he's condemned other types of Christianity and other religions, but more to the point, he used his fame and the word of God to condemn rock music, targeting artists like Ozzy Osbourne, Motley Crue, and even Christian rock groups like Stryper, condemning them as satanic and evil. This professional shit talker made millions of dollars throughout the 80s with his unique approach to promoting the word of the Lord through televangelism. But it all came to a head in 1988 when he was caught having an affair with a prostitute. On the 21st of February 1988, in an effort to save face, he went on national television to confess his sins. With tears rolling down his face, he desperately pleaded for forgiveness. Despite everything he'd done, he never really faced any real repercussions for his actions and would continue on as a preacher, but our boy Ozzy Osbourne didn't let him away with any of it. In late September of 1988, Ozzy Osbourne dropped his 5th studio album titled No Rest for the Wicked. The first track off that album, titled Miracle Man, took aim directly at Jimmy himself, and it's absolutely glorious. For anyone who's ever wondered why Ozzy was wearing a mask in a church full of pigs in that video and who Jimmy was, this is what it was all about. Ozzy gave Jimmy a long overdue and well deserved dragging for all that Osbourne and the rest of his contemporaries were falsely accused of being. It's an unbelievably intelligent song full of clever lyrics and playful digs. It's great. The video serves as a visual representation of what televangelism at that time was really all about. The bottom line is that preachers like Jimmy were the real devil. They preyed on the weak that sought refuge in the word of Christ. They emptied people's wallets and gave very little in return. Jimmy harnessed the power of suggestion and fear and exploited it for his own personal gain, while at the same time endlessly accusing rock artists of the occult, devil worship and other ridiculous nonsense. Say what you will about Ozzy, but he never hid who he really was. Ozzy began his career in the rock band that pioneered the heavy metal genre, Black Sabbath. They were the originators of what we know today as heavy metal. Black Sabbath's music aimed to bring the excitement of horror that we often see in film and theatre into the music itself. Eventually Ozzy and Black Sabbath would part ways, and Ozzy would begin a solo career of his own. In both his solo career and the work he done with Black Sabbath, he was accused of devil worship, but this simply is not the case. In both Ozzy Osbourne's and Tony Iommi's autobiographies, they specifically state that they were not Satanists or devil worshippers, or anything of the sort. They were artists creating music based on horror. I know this because I've listened to both books myself, and I also highly recommend you check them out. Again, Ozzy was by no means a saint, but he laid his cards out on the table for the world to read in that book. He's a man that made a lot of mistakes, some of them terrible, but devil worshipper he is not. No Rest for the Wicked is an incredible album. It's also the start of the Zakk Wylde era. The album is full of chug heavy riffs, pinch harmonics and cleverly written songs, and while the Randy Rhoads era started everything off, I feel that this album was the true starting gate to the sound Ozzy is known for today. No Rest for the Wicked, No More Tears and the more recent Patient Number 9 are my favourite Ozzy albums. No Rest for the Wicked peaked at position 13 on the Billboard Top 200 and has stood the test of time. As for Mr. Swaggart, last time I checked he's still an active preacher and professional coffin dodger. Who cares? Screw that guy. So what are you waiting for? If you haven't dived into the music of Ozzy Osbourne, go check him out. Forget the other guy. And thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.